Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS1 disc review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Spider the video game, which if you've never played it before, it's basically a side-scrolling platformer similar to Mario and that. I don't think it gets as much recognition as it deserves. I personally think it's a very good platformer, however it does have its faults, and to be fair, if you're playing it on the disc like I am on a PlayStation 3, this is one of the faults. Basically, the options don't work. I mean, you can see a few flashes, so you kind of know where you're going, so you can just about navigate the menu, and when you try to actually save the game, then that's a bit of a nightmare as well, trying to make sure that you're not overwriting your other PS1 data saves. But if it comes out on the PSN, hopefully all those things will be fixed, and it's well worth looking at. Anyway, let's get onto some game footage. So here we go then, it is basically your standard side-scrolling platformer. There's extra lives lying around, you've got energy to be fair, that's kind of something not standard, because obviously with things like Mario it's 1-hit kill unless you've got power-ups, but with this you've got 2 bits of energy. You can't upgrade that unfortunately, that's one of the things I find a bit hard about the game, because there's also no checkpoints in the levels. So if you get right near the end of a level and all of a sudden an enemy comes out of nowhere and kills you, then you've got to start the whole level again, and it can happen again and again and again and again. So that's something that I do think is a bit of a fault, and I wish they'd looked at either just giving you more energy or just giving you checkpoints or something like that. But as I say, it's a standard side-scrolling platform. You go left to right, up and down, collect 100 of whatever the collectible is on that platformer to get an extra life. On this, it's these little nucleuses and stuff like that. You can get energy as well if you lose energy. That's basically one of the health points. And then you're supposed to be looking for these, which, to be fair, this is slightly different because I've beat this level before, but that is the end of a level. It's basically a green sphere with a cube in it. When the cube's in it, it means you haven't been through that exit. When the cube's not in it, it means you've done it before. Because basically, like Mario, it's got multiple exits on certain levels. Some levels have up to 4 exits, for example. So you just have to look around for all of them. And it does actually require a certain amount of exits to continue forward. So where with Mario, it was just simply a case of, like, they were there for a good little ending and stuff like that. With this, in order to actually progress, you need to find some of the exits. But in case you're thinking it's looking a bit plain at the moment, just going left and right, up and down and fighting spiders with your claws and that, the whole point is the story to it, basically, because I'm going to have to explain why you're a spider, to be fair, because it is completely insane, the fact that you've got these spiders exploding. You were basically a scientist. You were creating a form of technology that allowed you to control robotics, and it's a robotic spider. Espionage things happened, and basically people came in, shot you up and shot the place up, but you already had the technology in place. So you are now currently locked somewhere with the crap kicked out of you, but you're conscious still, and you're controlling this spider to basically go around and help things out and that, and to help you out. But basically, because you're a robot, there's certain upgrades you can find. So I'll just show a few of these off now, because you can get all sorts of weapons throughout the game. So one of the first things to show off is basically you can get shields to protect you from things. However, they do last a very small amount of time. Then there's the missiles, which are a really cool power-up. You can get flamethrowers, and I'll try and show a few of these off. I'll try and show a fully upgraded spider off, to be fair, because as you might have already noticed, as soon as I got the missiles, then part of it's changed. And it's really cool to see a spider with all 4 weapons in place, because you've got 2 offensive weapons, and then you've got 2 defensive weapons. But at the start of the game, when you've got no defensive weapons, you've got no defensive weapons, meaning you can't actually do anything with your rear legs or anything like that. But with the start, you always have an offensive weapon, which is your slash. So it's one of those that, for the first couple of levels, you're probably going to be thinking, well, why are those other circles there? But they are actually there for defensive weapons. You can get smart bombs, you can get mines. Going back to the offensive weaponry, you can get boomerangs, which the boomerangs are infinite ammo, so that's really cool. You can get flamethrowers, you can get poison gas, just stuff like that. So hopefully I'll be cutting into some footage here with a fully upgraded spider. So this is basically a fully upgraded spider, and if I just pause that so I can move the camera around a bit, you might be able to notice that all of a sudden it's got pretty much a full chrome paint job, which I think that looks really cool when you've got that, because as you keep getting the upgrades, you'll keep changing, and when you get a full defensive set, then you, like, half your body at the back goes metallic, and full offensive set, you get half your body at the front goes metallic. Got a few weapons here to show off though. I've got the boomerang, which I might as well do, seeing as I mentioned it. I've got the poison, which the poison is basically the same as the flamethrower, only green. I don't really know much of a difference. I can't notice much of a difference in power or anything. It seems a little bit of a pointless exercise really to actually put both in. You've then got your defensive weapons, which you can do smart bombs, which is that's just a mine. The smart bomb, when I find out how to do it, there we go, that's a changed weapon for that. It's just a big explosion. So the smart bombs are basically best used when you're getting overwhelmed by a load of enemies that are trying to attack you, because you can get some that can fire at you, you can get some that can't fire at you, so if you're on a screen full of them, it's best off using it then. The mines are just simply, well, you can plant them behind you. If you know something's chasing you, just plant it there. There's also bosses on the game, so I'm just going to cut into some boss footage, but just in case you haven't spotted them, these are basically the things that you're looking for, the upgrades. I've now got mines, poison and poison, so that's a lot of the same stuff. So this is basically a boss. It's the mechanical arm, and if I've worked all my stuff out right, all my things, and there's basically 3 bosses on the game, or at least 3 proper bosses on the game. There's 29 levels, and there's about 58 exits through those 29 levels, so there is quite a bit to do there. Musically, the game sounds really good, and graphically, I still think this looks really good, although I'll be honest, back then I thought this does look like a spider, whereas now I'm sitting here thinking I'd love to see what they could do with today's graphics and gameplay on that, so I'd love to see a sequel, even though it's about 15 years too late or something. But anyway, here's some music while I hopefully kill this boss. Well, that was a bit of the music. Unfortunately, the boss is taking longer than expected. It doesn't help when you're stupid and you run into an explosive thing and die. But anyway, there's pretty much nothing left to say other than that if you like platformers, definitely take a look if you can. I'm sure there's still some copies on eBay. I found it pretty easily, and if it ever comes to the PSN, then it's going to be even easier to get. And as I say, I do think this is a really great platformer that's gone a bit unsung. Don't get me wrong, things like Mario World are always going to be better, because this does have a few slight problems, but even so, I think it's a great platformer and just, well worth a look. So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.